Website designers, domains, and hosting. Chapter 1. Website designers. Website designer lists. Advertise on Craigslist for a student to design your website for you at a reasonable price, which is much cheaper than professional website designers, which want at least $20 an hour. Rentacoder.com. Webdesigners-directory.com. ecommerce.alltheservices.com. business.com/directory/internet_and_online/web_development_design/developers_and_designers. business.com/directory/internet_and_online/web_development/web_developers_by_country. 1234findwebdesigners.org. 1234-find-web-designers.org. 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 AAAdesignlist.com. AffordableProgrammers.com. Alistiapart.com. AmazingWebsiteDesigns.com, Pittsburgh. AmericanEagle.com. Buyerzone.com/website design. CITW.com, Website Designers Canada. CYBEarfeeds.com, quick, cheap. Designfirms.org. Digitalthread.com. Elance.com. Antheosweb.com/website_design.asp. IAWMD.com, Webmasters and Designers. ImaginationPlus.com. iMakeWebPages.com, Lancaster County, PA. Interstellardata.com. KTSindia.com. LighthouseColorPrint.com/web_design.html. Nayuti.com, India. Printoutlet.us/designers.php. Publish.com, Web Publishing. StudioOneWebDesign.com, Los Angeles. TangledSpider.com. TLServices.net. v-soft.vcc.ro. Webdesign.thelist.com. Webdesign.thelist.com. Webdesignersdirectory.org. CreativeMoonlighter.com, find 1000s of multimedia web designers. Web-designer-search.us. Webdeveloper.com. Webmaster.org. www.ac.org, Web Artists. International Webmasters Association. 119 E. Union Street. #F. Pasadena, California 91103. 626-449-3709. Iwanet.org. Web Design Developers Association. 8515 Brower. Houston, Texas 77017. 435-518-9784. wdata.org. Website Designer Companies for Hire 1. freelancedesigners.com/dir/webdesign, Web Design Directory of Web Designers. Gossamer-threads.com. jhweb.in. EnvisageImaginationFactory.com. AdoNSolutions.com. Webguru-india.com. CuriousM.com. Curious Minds Media is a digital media studio. 123webguru.com/design.html. 1800net.com. gcwebdesignstudio.co.za. abwebsitedesign.com. thinkbigger.com, Wisconsin. thinkbiggermedia.com, Erie, PA. boomtownig.com/web-design, Philadelphia. smashingmagazine.com. mojowebdesign.com.au/web-designers.php. affordablewebdesigner.co.uk. forgoodhosting.com. 99designs.com. advancedaccess.com. advancedaccess.com, real estate web design, hosting and internet marketing. applas.com. advisorschur.com, adwebdesign.com, aionline.edu, alphachannel.com, alirra.com/job-website.html, altherwebdesign.com, Cincinnati, O. amazingwebsitedesigns.com, Ambridge, PA. americaneagle.com, americaneagle.com, arcdesignnc.com/multimedia.php, Fayetteville, NC, website design, aerialview.com, Baton Rouge, La. @homeworks.com, ordev.com, bearcom.com, bestwebsitesolution.com, bigbangms.com, bigpondwebworks.com, bistex.com, blogengine.net, bluecollardesign.com, bluecollarweb.net, bluestreamdesign.com, bluevoda.com, bombaybiz.com, bookzone.com, buckeyewebdesign.com, buyerzone.com, cadenterprisesllc.com, cadwebsitedesign.com, cadwebsitedesign.com, cape.com, capitalideaventures.com, Washington, D.C., caribbeanzol.com, certaintyzolutions.com, cncstreetdesign.com, cleanhtml.com, cooloolabusiness.com, corporatecom.com, cousinsislandwebdesign.com, Maine, craigslist.org, crowdspring.com, cutting-edge-design.com, San Antonio, TX, cuttinggedesigns.us, Florida, Sicey.com, Panama City Beach, Florida web design, dagnetsolutions.com, dannycarlton.com, dburnsdesign.com, Los Angeles, California, dburnsdesign.com, Los Angeles, dcddesigns.com, deepcreekarts.com, web design, Western North Carolina, degnanco.net, Delaware web hosting, designcapecod.com, design-web-site.net, digitalil.com, Tampa, docutype.net, dogbonedesigns.com, Midcoast, Maine, edikk.com, Paris-based, elance.com, 877-435-2623, ellisgs.com, emaginedesigns.com, St. Petersburg, FL, equineobsession.com, specializing in farms and ranches, evergreencomputing.com, bluespidercreations.com, website design for small business, expeditemg.com, flashwebsites.net, foodies.com, freezepitwebdesign.com, freshideas.ie. I create cool websites and software, give great advice on internet strategy and deliver online marketing that works. Gates9.com, Phoenix website design, greatideas4u.com, haroldhingle.com, hawaiiwebdesign.com, healingartsmedia.com, heritagewebdesign.com, heritagewebdesign.com, homestead.com, hotstudio.com, hivenetwork.com, imageco.com, imaginationplus.com, indianawebsitedesign.net, indianfreelancers.net, indiawebdevelopers.com, infome.com, Michigan, interland.com, jhstudios.com, Tampa, FL, jtsdesign.com, Hudson Valley, New York, jumpingtrout.com, justsimpledesign.com, web designer in Malaysia, jvlnet.com, Janesville, WI, kalinawebdesigns.com, kcustom.com, kelly-hosting.com, killhenrysugar.com, kirkmoor.com/services.htm, leecomputerservices.com, Baytown, TX. Level10design.com, lindacarroll.com, logtechnology.com, looksmart.com, mainhost.com, main web hosting, design and promotion, makemineMagic.com, memorableplaces.com, montanodesigns.com, naturaloidproductions.com, Belize, nergizing.com, netsciencedia.com, Orange County, California-based website design, networksolutions.com, newmoonwebsites.com, nerplemedia.com, Tampa Bay web design, n-web.com, Scotland, odesses.com, offthebeatenpathdesigns.com, whitemountainwebarts.com, New Hampshire website design, onegeek.com, York, PA, onlearning.net, these.com.au, Port Douglas website design, pliner.com, pradiksha.com, realcoolwebsites.com, realestatemaschine.com, really-fine.com, royalways.com, sailor.com, savvysites.net, schipool.com, scopelink.com, San Diego, cowebsitepromotion.com, sephone.com, sharpminds.com.np, Nepal, sharpminds.org, Indianapolis, Indiana, shoestring-webdesign-services.com, shoestringwebs.com, shyamnet.com, Kerala Web Designing and Web Hosting, India, simple-biz.com, Thailand-based, skylardesign.com, Long Island, New York, slicker.com, Charleston, SC Web Design, spendlist.com, spiderants.com, Web Design, Wairarapa NZ, stevesims.com, Britain, studiostirong.com, subiacreative.com, servinet.com, susanpomeroy.com, sysice.com, talashInfosoft.com, offshore outsourcing company in India providing web designing and web solutions services, tbresna.com, teamformultimedia.at, techtricks.net, therelief.com, tiptopwebsite.com, tiptopwebsite.com, create a website for a buck, tlservices.net, twistedpixel.com, ufolondon.com, virtualhelpinghand.com, v-soft.vcc.ro, Romania, v-soft.vcc.ro, web design, outsourcing Romania, webdesign.savvy-cafe.com, webdesign-kit.com, webdesigns.moondogmanson.com, andrewlehman.com, webhire.com, webolutions.com, website design Denver, website-development-company-india.com, websitepros.com, webspacestation.com, wedigit.com, witeforest.com, wildfire-ent.com, New Jersey Shore, willardsigns.com, wiredeffects.com, worldviewdesign.com, wsadvantage.com, Atlantic Canada, wsieforce.com, zebedee-creations.com, website designer companies for hire to, Serim, Shanghai-based website design, development, and management, seirim.com, China, Senip, London, senp.com, UK, Allison Design, Austin, Texas, AllisonDesign.com, Hello Monday, HelloMonday.net, Jar Creative, an integrated digital marketing agency, jarcreative.com, Canada, Deozite.com, Poland, Creative Cherry, London, CreativeCherry.com, UK, G2 Studio, G2Studio.net, China, Lowy Design. lowydesign.com. Business Inc. Design. United Kingdom-based design company. business-inc.co.uk/web-design-portfolio.htm. Creative Concepts Design Studio. C2designs2dio.com. Frade Media Front. fradetmediafront.com. Matchwork Studio. matchworkstudio.com. Momentum 18 Medical Design. medicaldesignAgency.com. Definite Web Design. definiteweb.com/webdesignportfolio.htm. Kerrigan McCarthy Portfolio. Northern California. msmccarthy.com. British Website Design. 50connect.co.uk. ukqualitywebsites.co.uk. thefreeflowstudio.co.uk. publiclife.co.uk, does non-profits. newgenerationwebsites.com, British. freethinkingdesign.co.uk. happypeople.ie. ld-software.co.uk. netdreams.co.uk, Web Design London Teampartners.co.uk. fishes.co.uk. conceptwebdesign.co.uk. dreadodesign.com, UK-based. designprofessional.co.uk. creative-digital-alliance.co.uk. rpy.co.uk. essence-design.co.uk, Birmingham, UK. cliftonwebdesign.co.uk/bristol-web-design-services.htm. 4dwebdesigns.co.uk. Chapter 2. Website Domain Guide. Website Domain Names. The most common top-level domain/TLDs areas follows. .com, commercial. .cc, commercial. .org, organization. .net, network. .biz, business. .pro, professional. .name, meant for individuals. .info, information. .coop, cooperatives. .museum, museums. .tv, relating to television. There are other so-called unsanctioned TLDs not sanctioned by ICANN.org, the agency that legally regulates domain names. For more info, go to new.net. For basic information about checking through lists of domain names to see if they exist or for some other reason, go to the following. ICANN.org/registrars, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. ICANNWatch.org, Domain Name News. 8com.net. apnic.net, search website addresses in Asia Pacific. ARIN.net, search website names in the Americas. betterwhois.com. cheap-domain-registration.com/domain_name_search.shtml. checkdomain.com. cyber.law.harvard.edu/ICANN/search/udrp.asp, Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy. domaindirect.com. domainhabit.com. domainpulse.com, news about domains. dualbytes.com. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/domain_names. icann.org/registrars/accredited-list.html, ICANN's top-level domain registrar list. idnames.com, 800 ID names. internic.net/ars-internic. mutiny-design.co.uk/scripts/guide-to-buying-old-domains-with-pagerank-and-links, guide to buying old domains with PageRank and links. nameit.net. netsol.com/whois. networksolutions.com. norid.no/domain-navn-baser/domreg.html, domain name registries around the world. On choosing a good domain name. arbiter.wipo.in/domain/guide/wipo, Guide to the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy UDRP. freedomainlog.com. Register.com, 888 Register. Ripe.net, search website addresses in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Sitepoint.com/print/making-domains-your-business. thesitewizard.com/archive/domainname.html, tips. tradingzone.com. unclaimed and expired domain names.com. yahoo.com/computers_and_internet/domain_registration. Domain info websites. domaininformer.com. domainnamewire.com. domainnews.com. 100best-domain-names.com. domainerseo.com. Ideas for new domains. If you want ideas for new domain names, try bestnames.net. domainsurfer.com. e-giner.com/domainator. homepagenames.com. kudosnet.com/domain/k2/r.dmc. nameboy.com. startstorm.com. Who owns a website/check domain availability. who.is. domaintools.com. networksolutions.com/n_a/whois/index.jhtml, Network Solutions Domain Name Database. ripe.net/db/whois.html, RipeHoi, research internet domains, including free text search. checkdomain.com, checkdomain.com, internet domain search. openaccess.dialog.com/ip/form/ptc domainnames.html, domain names, internet domain search. ARIN.net, American Registry for Internet Numbers. centralops.net/co, centralops.net domain dossier, investigate domains and IP addresses. iCANN.net, trace domain registration to figure out who owns a website. dnsstuff.com. apnic.net/search/index.html, Asia Pacific HOI, research internet domains. netsol.com/whoi/whois, trace domain registration to figure out who owns a website. nsi.com, to see who owns any website. websitez.com, searches for web addresses and tells you who owns them. domainbank.net/whois.cfm, who owns the domain. betterwhois.com. hunami.com. internic.net/whois.html. registrar.verisign-grs.com/whois, find out who owns and administers websites here. networksolutions.com/n_a/whois/index.jhtml, find out who owns which websites. whois.net, search who owns website names. whois.educause.net/edu domain/whois.asp, who owns educational domain names. virtualchase.com/howto/webowner.html, how to find domain name holders. cqcounter.com/whois, every computer connected to the internet has a unique domain number. bizmint.com. whois.sc. Lists of domain sellers. icann.org/registrars/accredited-list.html. unclaimeddomains.com, once registered but dropped domain names. domaininformer.com. newnames.nu, register your new domain name today. registerdomains.ch. register.com. domaindirect.com. .stir.com. unclaimeddomains.com. registrar.us.com. cheap-domainregistration.com. domainnamebuyersguide.com. icann.org/registrars/accredited-list. icannwatch.org. internic.net/faq/domain-names. yahoo.com/computers_and_internet/internet/domain_registration. uninet.no/navn/domreg.html, world. Buy a domain websites. Domain registration is picking a website name, making sure no one else already owns it, then pay a few bucks to any of a number of companies licensed to perform this service to register it for you. Any computer magazine will have ads for domain registration. Beware that the website name you pick is not a trademark symbol owned by somebody else, otherwise you'll have to give it up. Check it out at usbeta.gov and nameprotect.com. Nameteam.com, simple way to check domain availability. Registration.fed.gov, for the gov designation. nic.mil, for mil. dewitsmedia.com/co-blog/domain/9-domain-buying-tips. iconn.org/registrars/accredited-list.html, list of sellers. networksolutions.com. 800-4.com. Once the monopoly, still a big player. turbify.com, $2 a year. domainsinseconds.com, cheap price. domainsnext.com, lifeforce.com, domain name registration, getcom.net.org.info and.biz for $15. godaddy.com. cheap-domainnames.com. specialistweb.com, $6. namecheap.com. cheapdomains.ws. 000domains.com. greatdomains.com, greatdomains.com. internic.net, internic. networksolutions.com, networksolutions. register.com, register.com. co.za, Uniforum Association, co.za Domain Administration. mydomain.com, $9. domainersnook.com. yourdomain.com. domainradar.com/availabledomains.htm. directnic.com. cookiesdomainshop.com. domain-registration.us.com. best3g.com. netnames.com. buy-domain-now.com. buydomains.com. mydomainbusinessno.com. rapidwebreviews.com. beam.to. register.com. domainsnext.com. ischool.net. buydomains.com. sedo.com, premium domains for sale. 1and1.com. afternic.com. 8com.net. alldomains.com, 800-561-5131. allwhois.com. amnisi.com. apnic.net, Asia Pacific Network Information Center. apnic.net/map/tld-list, Asian domain links. onic.net, Australia. bestdomains.com. bluegenesis.com, low price. bulkreserve.com. buydomains.com. sedo.co.uk. checkdomain.com. clickey.com. coronic.org/find.htm. cows.com. dollarhost.com, low price. .com. doTZ.com, low price. domaindirect.com. domainmonger.com. domainnamebuyersguide.com. domainnamesexpress.com. domainnotes.com. domainregister.com. domainregistry.com. domains.com. domainstore.com. doTZ.com. dummies.getmyname.com. easydns.com. educause.net/edudomain/whois.asp, educational domain names. enom.com. fantasticstuff.net. freedomanlog.com. gandhi.org, could be the cheapest. easyspace.com, $5 a year. godaddy.com, 866 GoDaddy, less than $10. greatdomains.com, 800-478, 8763. hknick.net.hk, Hong Kong. idnames.com, 800 idnames. internetcrusade.com. internic.net/rs-internic. internic.net/whois. isi.edu/in-notes, domain rules. isi.edu/in-notes/USDNR, US Domain Registration SVCs. marksonline.com/app/nick search. mydomain.com, quite cheap. nameback.com. nameboy.com. nameit.net. namescoot.com. namesecure.com. netnames.com. netsol.com. networksolutions.com. nic.gov/cgi-bin/whois, for gov domain. nic.us, domain rules. nsi.com, network solutions. ooodomains.com. register.com, 888 register. rs.internic.net. unclaimeddomains.com. vario.com. verysign.com. yourname.com. Get an alternative domain suffix. new.net. Create a website with any of these extensions, $35. .agent. .art. .auction. .chat. .church. .club. .family. .free. .game. .golf. .inc. .law. .llc. .llp. .love. .ltd. .med. .mp3. .school. .sci-fi. .shop. .soc. .sport. .tech. .video. .xxx. Domain name management. They will redirect your domain, park it, etc. zonedit.com. Domain parking, some free, some fee. Domain parking is done for two reasons. 1. A speculator buys up a bunch of domain names and might put a few ads on them along with the message this domain name is for sale. They're gambling that someone will pay them $250 or more for it. They hope that they will end up bringing in more money than what they put out. It could backfire. People just make up some other name. 2. Some people get a free hosted website with a crappy subdomain name, so they buy a domain name, park it and put up a few lines of code to redirect it to their free website. With free domain parking, you pay for the domain, then they give it a free scant web presence. tomuse.com/reviews-top-domains-registration-parking-compare. 101freedomain.com. 101internetservice.com. 1and1.com. activeaudience.com. admarketplace.com. alldomainparking.com. Domain transfer info. If you register your domain with a company, then next year decide to register it with another company, it's no sweat. The new company transfers it for you. Domain drop catchers/expired domains. Nobody owns domain names. They just rent them. If a name expires, the user has 75 days to renew. After that, the name is free again. Drop catchers are companies that snap up recently expired domains and try to sell them at a profit, or they take contracts on domain names in advance. If you want a domain name currently in use, you pay them $60 or more and they tell you if and when that domain expires. Pool.com. Snapcatcher.com. Domain name dispute. If somebody snatches a website name similar to your website name, personal name, or business, go to the following websites for legal recourse. domain-magistrate.com, iconn.org/udrp/udrpdec.htm. udrplaw.net, the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy legal information site. Chapter 2. A website hosting guide. Website hosting reviews. What you're looking for in any website hoster is how much of the following do they provide. Disk space, the size in bytes or the sum of matter a customer can upload, and thus be made available to the public, to the WebOS servers. Bandwidth, the speed in which someone can peruse through the website, upload to or download from the internet. Email accounts, how many with your website. Secure servers, this not only takes care of the integrity of the area and the contents, it is also responsible for guarding over the transactions within the website. Many hosts offer unlimited size and bandwidth for a flat fee. Private.org.il/ip2geo.html, how do I find the geographical location of a host, given its IP address? aka marketing.com/choosing-a-host.html, choosing a host. Bestofthewebhosts.com, they have some articles website hosting. They say take a few hours to do some research because it's better to pick a good one upfront than to change later. I've seen the name bluehost.com come up a lot as the best. Alreadyhosting.com. Siteground.com, web hosting forum. Forum.siteground.com. Reviews.cnet.com/basic_hosting. Host1dedicated.com.au, Australia website hosting. RateMyHost.com. CompareWebHosts.com. HostingConsumerReports.org. HostReview.com. BraveNet.com. Hosting-Review.com. Hosting-Web-Services.com. Web-Hosting-Top.com, Web Hosting Reviews. BestWebHostingSites.com. InfoMadeSimple.com. USAWebHosting.info. HostRanking.com. Reseller.com. SearchASP.com. Thelist.com. Cheap website hosting websites. Any computer magazine will have ads for the latest cheapest website hosting service, but you can always run your own server from your home or business. Go to hosting-review-center.com and they give you a list of places you can host a website for $4 to $10 a month with an unlimited of space and free tools too. Hosting-review-center.com. ConsumerCompare.org/web hosting. Bestofthewebhosts.com. Hosting-review.com. Consumer-rankings.com/hosting. No-ip.com, can redirect your website from one provider to another. GoDaddy.com. Bluehost.com. Access4less.net. OneNL.com. OneCentHosting.com. OneSite.info. Create-a-web-site-page.com. WebHostingBuzz.com. Registera.com. Dethorn.com. DomainsInSeconds.com. 24shells.net. 8484.com/cheap-servers/cheap-business-web-site-hosting-services.html. RateMyHost.com. acheapwebsite.com. Active-venture.com. Address.com, address.com. ASO.net, affordable internet services online. allwebco.com. allwebco.com. apollohosting.com. applydi.net. asp-shareware.org, Association of Shareware Professionals. autorun-cd.multimedia-software.net. imhosted.com. aviaweb.net, web hosting. awebsitehosting.com. awebsitehosting.com. b2evolution.net/web-hosting/budget-web-hosting-low-cost-lamp.php. b4udecide.com. bigfast.net, bigfast. bizgold.com. bluehost.com. 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 budgethostingweb.com. forwardingweb.com. valueweb.com. build-a-business-website-cheap.com. burtonhosting.com. business-website-hosting.info. CanadianWebHosting.com, CastironHostingReview.com, CheapBusinessHostingBlog.com, Create-a-web-site-page.com, 50megs.com, 50 megs, DeluxeHosting.com, DigitalWebPro.com, DirectNick.com, DirectWebsiteHosting.com, .5hosting.com, .5hosting.com, DoTeasy.com, .netnuke.com, .servant.com, EasyCGI.com, EasySpace.com, EasySpace, EasyWebEditor.com, e-biz-hosting.com, eBooksWriter.com, easy-web-editor.net, easywebeditor.com, ahostpros.com/hosting/hosting.html, avahost.net, emenis.com, 10,000 MB, execpc.com, $5, fastdomain.com, fastvision.com, hosting UK, fatcow.com, fatcow.com, find-a-webhost.com, 1and1.com, $10 a month, globat.com, godaddy.com, 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 gosimer.biz/hosting.php, greengeeks.com, home.com, homepage.com, homepage.com, hostdone.com, hostdone.com, hosterware.com, hostgator.com, 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 hosting.com, hosting.com.ru, hostingdomainfree.net, hosting-review.com, hosting-review.com, hosting-review.com/reviews, hostmonster.com, 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 hyperpublish.com, inmotion.com, interland.net, interland, ipowerweb.com, ipowerweb.com, ismywebsite.com, 100 MB, 12,500 MB, joinworldhost.co.tv, joker.com, justhost.com, kolkatawebhosting.com, level3webhosting.com, lunarpages.com, 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 lefa.com, majorhost.com, majorhost, most affordable webhosting.com/cheap business website hosting.html, hosterware.com, mozy.com, myhosting.com, myweb.jbi.in, netfirms.com, networksolutions.com, nextsite.biz, nsize.com/hosting.html, myrbitweb.com, onewebhosting.com, ourbizspace.net/web-site-hosting.htm, onereferral.com/web-hosting/cheap-host-web-hosting, peer.com, peer networks, paperkiller.com, petronumber.com/cheap-web-hosting.html, verbals.info, falanxinfotech.com, falanxinfotech.com, India, pinchhost.com, prohosting.com, prohosting, qualityhostonline.com, rackspace.com, 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 registryweb.com, discount domains, roboauthor.com, scerebiethost.com, 5,500 MB, slwebsolutions.com, squido.com/hostdomainweb, starlogic.com, superbhosting.net, theosyellowpages.com/web-hosting.htm, 10-cheapwebhosting.com, tiahosting.com, Top10webhosting.com. Top-notch website hosting.com. ultimatemarketingcenter.com. ultrawebsitehosting.com. ultrawebsitehosting.com. upperhost.com. vario.com, Vario. virtualhosting.com. vistapages.com. visualvision.it. vspacelab.com/web-hosting.htm. myreliablehosting.net. webhostinghub.info. webhostingpad.com. webhostingpad.com. webhostingsecretrevealed.com. web-hosting-top.com. webjump.com. websitehostdirectory.com. websitehostdirectory.com. websitehostingforbusiness.com. web-site-hosting-reviews.blogspot.com. web-site-software.com. asp-shareware.org. hyperpublish.com. websitesource.com. websitesource.com. websuvita.com. wiredhub.net. yahoo.com. Lists of website hosting companies. Type hosting services into search engines. Your ISP probably has a website hosting service. There will be some listed in your local phone book. Don't let your website company register your domain name. Do it yourself. Some unscrupulous website hosting companies register the names and keep the rights for themselves, so they own the right to that name as long as they pay the annual fee. If you want to leave them, they say you can't take the name with you, so they're holding you hostage to having your website hosted by them. Check out the company before you hire them. Are they big and powerful enough to handle your needs? What about repair after breakdowns? Does it have good security from hackers? Read the fine print. People, your customers, if you're a business website, want to shop from a website that's easy to order from, has some resources, and where they can have access to a live human being either through email or a toll-free number. Reviews.cnet.com/basic_hosting. CompareWebHosts.com. WebHostingGeeks.com, Web Hosting Reviews and Rating, WebsiteHostDirectory.com, Website Hosting Directory. Hosting-Review.com, Hosting Review, Web Hosting Comparison Site Rates, Reviews Best Web. HostingChecker.com, Best Domain Web Hosting Services and Ratings. ICCMHosting.com, Website Hosting Ireland 100. MostDynamic.com, Cheap Web Hosting Services. RateMyHost.com. HostChart.com, Cheap Web Hosting Directory. HostPulse.com, 100 Most Dynamic Web Hosting Companies. The-best-web-host.com. WebHostingSearch.com. Before-you-decide.com, Top Web Hosting Companies. Webhosting.info/webhosts, Web Hosting Companies. RateMyHost.com, Cheap Web Hosting Directory. Web Hosting Reviews. HostCompanies.com, Web Hosting Directory, Website Hosting, Web Design and Hosting. HostSearch.com. HostLead.com, HostLead, Web Hosting Directory, find better web hosting. HostIndex.com, HostIndex.com, Web Hosting Directory, Web Hosting Resource Since. HostChart.com, compare web hosting companies and web hosts plans. HostChart.com. HostSearch.com. FindMyHost.com. CompareWebHosts.com. LaughingSquid.net, cheap. Broadband.com/business/quote.html. WebHostForYou.org. Best-web-hosting-company.com. BuildWebsite4You.com/building/web-hosting-services.shtml. webhosting.yahoo.com. afmu.com. turbify.com/webhosting. TheDirectory.org, lists internet access providers, web hosting companies, bulletin board systems and telephone prefix locations. Mailing lists also available. SKLServices.com. charm.net/web/vlib-providers/servers.html directory.net/dir/servers1.html ahostdepot.com enterhost.com findahost.com findwebspace.com hostindex.com hostylist.com hostince.com hostsearch.com internetmagazine.com lights.com/freenet milkern.com/do-don single quote t.html simplehost.com sites.com tophostreview.com tophosts.com top10webhosting.com union.ncsa.uiuc.edu/hypernews/get/www/leasing.html webhosters.com webhosting.com webhostylist.internetlist.com webhostylist.com webhostmagazine.com yahoo.com/business/corporation/internet_presence_providers yahoo.com/business_an_companies/internet_service_providers/internet_presence_providers/ website hosting websites. Many of these companies provide both website development and hosting services. iPowerWeb.com Bluehost.com StartLogic.com WebHostingFreeReviews.com WebHostingGoods.com WebHostingSearch.com LunarPages.com Domains2u.net PowWeb.coms DreamHost.com 2serveu.net Netfirms.coms Jumpline.com GoDaddy.com HostMonster.com WebHostingPad.com StartLogic.coms 1and1.com 1and1.com/web-hosting 2-minute-website.com 724hosting.com JustHost.com HostingSelector.com SiteGround.com WebHost4Life.com HostingCT.com Connecticut Web Hosting ActiveMatrix.org Affinity.com 8com.net mhosting.net aplus.net aplus.net 877 aplusnet bcentral.com beam.to bhosting.com bigstep.com bizpro.com bluehost.com bluehost.com bombaybiz.com India voice-it-services.com clever.com clever.net choreo.com cts.com cybermart.com datapipe.com dealhostusa.com digx.com directory.net domaindirect.com doTZ.com dreamhost.com easyspace.com easyspace.com $5 per year enzyme.com ianlininc.com exodus.com fatcow.com genudie.com gensco.com glob9.com godaddy.com gsn.com herwebeyes.com herwebhost.com highway.net 800-339-4929 homestead.com homeworkingmom.com/join.htm hostforprofit.com cheap hoststars.com hostgator.com hostgator.com hostingireland.ie hosting-site.org hostrocket.com cheap hostsearch.com hostway.com ibm.com/e-business/hosting icw.com icono.com 866-547-8616 imagecafe.com, imconline.com, imhosted.com, infowire.net, innerhost.com, interland.com, interliant.com, ipower.com, cheap, ipservices.att.com, ischool.net, islandnet.com, jdtwebhost.com, kcustom.com, hosting and website development, loudcloud.com, merchantclubvisitor.com, info@merchantclubvisitor.com, get website built cheap, metamorphosis.com, meyercomputer.com, mojointeractive.com, momsnetwork.com, navizite.com, nethostdirectory.com, netidentity.com, netnation.com, netview.com, networksolutions.com, newmediadigital.com, nomorewebmasters.com, build a 5-page website and have it hosted for $5 a month. onehost.com, pacifier.com, peer.com, planetnet.com, primenet.com, quest.com, radar-web-works.com, register.com, robustlink.com, safepage.com, shenandoahconnection.com, siderock.com, sitesmith.com, southerncross.net/rz/rz12, speaklight.com, superbhosting.net, teleport.com, topchoice.com, tophosting.com, 877 centuries, tripod.com, tripod.lycos.com, usinternetworking.com, uunet.com, vario.com, verysign.com, warriorpro.com, cheap, wc-hosting.com, web.com, web-business-hosting.com, webcom.com, web-hostess.com/services/webhosting.htm, webhosting.com, webhostingworld.net, weblinkindia.net/web-hosting website siteeffortless.com, websitepros.com, xmission.com, xo.com, xuma.com, yahoo.com, valueweb, 888 we host you. Low-cost web hosting service. Non-profit free web hosting services. orgsites.com. metacafe.com/watch/2744301/free_web_hosting_for_charities. Chapter 3. Worldwide domains and hosting. Make your website world-friendly. tlt.its.psu.edu/suggestions/international/index.html, tips for developing non-English websites. Australia domain/Australia website hosting. netregistry.com.au, hostingbay.com.au, passioncomputing.com.au/domain-names, webcity.com.au, webcity. aussiewebhost.com.au, Australia web hosting company, e-commerce web hosting provider. bizwebspace.com.au/domain_forward.shtml, melbournet.com.au, British domain/British website hosting. ac.uk, academic establishments, universities. co.uk, commercial enterprise. gov.uk, government. org.uk, organizations. ltd.uk, limited companies. mod.uk, Ministry of Defence. nhs.uk, National Health Service. net.uk, Internet Service Providers. plc.uk, Public Limited Companies. police.uk. sch.uk, schools. ukwda.org, UK Web Design Association. Websites etc.co.uk. webhosting.uk.com eukhost.com, UK. amistraiwebdesign.co.uk. pixelinternet.co.uk. karmatechnologies.co.uk/hosting.htm. uk1host.co.uk. getfreehosting.co.uk. oniandone.co.uk. pickaweb.co.uk, Web Hosting UK, Domain Names. oniandone.co.uk. soho-uk.com, Soho Consulting. freezone.co.uk, Web Hosting UK, Free Domain Name, UK Web Hosting Servers. affordable-website-design.me.uk/domain_companies.html. uk-cheapest.co.uk, Cheap Domain Names. velnet.com, velnet.com, Domain Name Registration and Web Hosting UK. Free website hostinguk.com/services.html. freezone.co.uk, Freezone. fast-name.co.uk/hosting.php. a1web-uk.com, ASP Website Hosting Ltd UK. 123-reg.co.uk. nic.uk/domains. ripe.net/whois, European Domain Registration. thename.co.uk. uk2.net. sedo.co.uk. New Zealand Website Hosting. kiwibiz.com, builds and hosts websites for small businesses at budget prices. Free domain names. kiwibiz.co.nz. iserve.co.nz/domain-name/free-domain-hosting.php. iserve.net.nz/domain-name/free-domain-hosting.php. Worldwide Website Hosting Services. com.jm, Jamaica Domain Registration and DNS Services. jamaica-web-services.com/www/url.html. hostway.com